All right, Whitlock, Warriors rolling. Will they be slowed down by Steve's absence?
No. They won a bunch of games without Luke Walton. They won a bunch of games without Kevin Durant. The Warriors have a roster and a system and a mature enough roster that I don't know if it matters. Mike Brown, the assistant coach who will step in, has taken the Cavaliers to the NBA Finals. He's an experienced head coach. Again, maybe not the greatest head coach.
He might have been just sitting in the car that arrived. But go ahead. Just go ahead.
Anyway.
Well, there is.
I'm sorry.
But there is a certain inertia to it.
Yeah.
Like when Jimmy Johnson left and Barry Switzer took over for a year. Yeah. For a year, Barry got him to the Super Bowl. I mean, I always joke, I could take over Michael.
Barry also ate a hot dog at the Pro Bowl on the side.
But I'm saying is, over time, Barry's a liability.
Yeah.
But I think there is a system or a culture or an inertia. I think it's a high IQ basketball team. They run a very fluid offense. They can coach themselves offensively for a 7-week period.
There's a few things I worry about, okay? Number one is when the game is slowed down in the playoffs, say set plays, not only in the half-court offense, in the set plays, Mike Brown is not a good half-court offensive coach. What is he known for? He's known for his defense. So what I'm worried about, does he try to change the personality? Because his emphasis is always defense. When Kerr goes to him during the course of how they do business, Mike Brown, and put him in the right defense. That's what he does. So now he's got to do both. And at the time, in the critical moment, Draymond Green is going to be a problem in the playoffs. Does Mike Brown have the authority? Does he have the voice to be able to calm him down like Steve Kerr? Because he went off on Steve Kerr before, Draymond. The Mike Brown, to me, is not a bouncer. He is not a guy, when you need somebody throwing out the club, you send him in there. Now, for someone to do a Bible study, great guy. That's the guy.
Here's the thing about Mike Brown, too, and keep in mind, the dynamics of this Golden State team is not going to change. They're going to play the way they play. But it's all about the messenger. We know what the message is. When Steph was going through that shooting slump, it was Steve Kerr that calmly sat on the bench and had a conversation with him because of the respect factor. Not that they don't respect Mike Brown, but the voice of reason was Steve Kerr. In critical situations against a San Antonio, against a Pop, underneath out of bounds, sideline out of bounds, last 2 minutes, Steve Kerr has that voice. I don't know if Mike Brown has the ability to capture the concentration level from his team and hold his players accountable like Steve Kerr can.
Is what Luke Walton did last regular season, is that we're just throwing that out the window?
But that's during the regular season. In the playoffs, this is totally different. In-game adjustments are so important.
You're playing the same team over and over.
I'm telling you, from game to game. So during the season, great. I don't worry about it. Even getting through the next round for Golden State, I don't worry about it. But playing in that conference championship and possibly maybe against Cleveland, I do have a
Golden
concern.
State's roster without a coach could win 60 games. Mm-hmm. That type of system of getting up and down and getting those shots with those 4 players, man, they could have a bunch of other players out there with them and no coach. They could win 60 games. They are that talented. They have 3 of the best shooters in the world.
And they're smart.
I'm going to add this as a hypothetical. Yes. If they were to win it without Steve Kerr, is that a bad look? Would that diminish Steve Kerr at all?
No, but remember, when Chip Kelly left Oregon, Mark Helfrich got back to the title game. Now he's fired. Like, again, I think there's a reality of sports. Yeah. For 7 or 8 weeks, you can take an inertia or a movement or, as you said, a culture, and for a short period, it works.
Of course, it's a bad look. When you left the show that one day, ratings spiked. It's not good. It's not good. You're on it.
You had a good weekend, didn't you? You had a good weekend. All right.